performance. It's gonna be a one-sided ass whooping.
Watch me fry this fish.
See, already y'all done made me do it. I didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. And yeah, and I'm very open about how biased I am when it comes to this particular matchup. I'm very biased. Yes, I got Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence. That doesn't mean I hate Errol Spence. That doesn't mean I think he's a terrible fighter. I think Errol Spence is phenomenal, and I actually like Errol Spence. I won't talk about him as much if I didn't like the guy, but I just think going into this fight with Terence Crawford is a bad fight for Errol Spence Jr. Despite what many people may think, I'm probably one of the few people, right, that just really thinks this is just a bad fight. Now, it could be a great fight. It could be a good fight, right? But stylistically, I believe it's a bad fight. And I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet, right, various social media platforms. And when your boy Bushido comes out and talks his, right, when I come out, when I do it, it's a huge problem. I get people telling me to, basically all I see is people telling me to stop it, please just stop, right? So I don't tend to go as hard as I can, right? But I got to tell you guys the truth when we talking this boxing shit, bro. That's the only way I've been doing it even since the original dojo, Bushido Boxing. Go check it out, right? We still over there. We do live streams over there. But the way fans, everybody's going to have their opinions on what they see, right? But from what I see, I don't see too many ways that Errol Spence Jr. could beat Terence Crawford unless he's standing still. That's what I see. I don't see it. I don't see too many ways that he could beat Bud. I see many ways that Bud could beat Spence, right? But I had this power rating, this skill set rating, right? This fighter rating from few years ago. And overall, Errol Spence was rated at 92, right? And some of these numbers may be a little high, and I'm just going to use this as a template for what I'm about to be talking about. Because a lot of dudes be talking, well, he just go run Terence Crawford out of the ring. I'm trying to figure out how he's going to do this. I've been trying to figure out how can Errol Spence do this for the longest time. But as you can see here, it says power 96. Is this power 96? I don't know, right? What do we're looking at this as these guys as welterweights, not heavyweights. So his power 96. I don't know, right? When I think of power, Errol Spence definitely has it. But when I look at power, I'm looking at dudes that knows how to really end the fight. You know what I'm saying? Big power ends fights, right? Even though Errol Spence beats the shit out of dudes if they standing still, right? Speed 89, I say that's about right. It may be even lower by now. This was a few years ago. Accuracy 91. Spence don't like to waste punches, right? He don't like to waste punches. He don't waste punches. He's not going to really take too many unnecessary risks. Lately, he's been taking a little bit more risk in his more recent fights, and he just doesn't look good when he does it, you know? And I don't think people don't really knock Spence like that, except for people simply just don't like Spence. And I'm not really saying knock him as in like, you know, but he has some obvious flaws in the ring that we've seen that a guy like Crawford would capitalize on. These mistakes, these rookie mistakes that you simply cannot make against a guy like Terence Crawford. You can't do rookie mistakes with a guy like Crawford, right? But looking at the skill sets, I just don't see what Errol Spence is going to do that Crawford hasn't seen, right? Like Terence Crawford, while he may not have, I don't know, they're going to always knock his career. I think no matter who he fight, even Spence, he beats Spence. Oh, well, Spence been out for too long or something. Whatever, right? But if you look at all the guys that he's fought, a variety of different styles, some may be bigger, some may be longer, right? Some may be faster, some may be stronger. But he handled all these guys in a variety of different ways. No matter what you was bringing to the ring, Crawford always had an answer. Right? More undefeated fighters than Errol Spence fought. So he beat some guys that didn't know how to lose. Guys that didn't know how to lose. But see, Crawford's resume gets a lot of flack because, well, he just simply made it look too easy, man. He just made it look too easy. And Top Rank didn't do a good job of building up any of those guys. It's all about timing when it comes to this boxing shit, you guys. That's another thing. Devin Haney and these guys, they may be in a new golden era of lightweights if things play out how it's supposed to play out. Crawford, when he was a lightweight, well, it just necessarily wasn't all these type of guys. Right? But when he got to the welterweight division, that's when the action started. It just so happens, unfortunately for him, Bob Arum didn't have a stable of welterweights for him to really build up on. So things got ugly with Terence Crawford and Top Rank, and we saw how that played out. That was a whole issue. Oh, well, he's over there anyway. You know, he's on the wrong side of the street, and that was a whole thing. But as we see here, Crawford's power 91. I'll give it that. You know, even though Crawford, we've seen him in the ring almost 40 times now, 39 times. We never seen him bullied in the ring. And really, out of most of his fights, he stopped everybody. So I would say Crawford has really, really good power. You know, it's not bronze bomber crushing power, right? But he gets these guys up out of there for whatever he does, right? His speed is 97, maybe a little lower now, right? This was 3 years ago. Maybe a little lower now, but I still say Crawford's still one of the fastest welterweights. Even though he's a smaller man moving up, he's been at the weight for a while. I still say he probably is the fastest welterweight as far as the top welterweights anyway, right? Then accuracy, Crawford's pretty accurate, a very accurate puncher. Really, really good puncher. Crawford punching, while we looking at the combos and counter punching, I mean, Crawford's a very good puncher. He's a boxer, puncher, boxer, whatever you want to call him, right? A variety of different punches coming from different angles, setting you up in different ways. He could change up the tempo and the speed of his punches. Crawford has a lot of different things he's doing in there. 1-inch punches. You know, Errol Spence really has to watch out for a lot of tricks that Crawford applies, and Crawford seems to be excited that this thing is happening, you guys. Footwork, 97. Crawford has great footwork. I mean, he just uses he don't use it as much as he did when he was a smaller fighter, right? He's a little bit, you know, more right there, but he's still cutting them angles and using lateral movement. He's just not moving as much, right? We haven't seen Crawford move like that since the Postal fight. So we know it's there. Really athletic guy. Defense 93. Yeah, Bud don't be getting, contrary to what they say, right? They say he's chinny and all this stuff. Crawford don't get hit much in fights. He gets hit, but it's not like where you see him all bruised and beat up after fights and shit, right? You don't see him all beat up and bruised after fights. Crawford defense is solid. I think he's more. I think his offense is his strong suit, right? He's not like Floyd Mayweather where he's a defensive or but his defense is solid, right? His chin 90. I don't know, right? They say he's chinny. I don't really endorse into that because he fought some guys and they couldn't do nothing with him, you know. But he fought some other guys like, oh shit, they might have got caught with something he didn't see. You know what I'm saying? It happens in fights. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that Gamboa fight still likes to ring in people's minds. And in a Mean Machine fight, I guess you could consider it a knockdown, but it wasn't considered a knockdown. I mean, he hit Bud grabbed him, and the Mean Machine kind of wiggled him down. So I don't know, man. We've seen many times where dudes got these little knockdowns and the refs didn't call it. Crawford went out there and stopped these guys right after that. So, I mean, whatever the case, his killer instinct, his recovery is great. I don't know. I don't endorse the weak chin stuff. If Crawford was chinny, chinny is like Amir Khan. Chinny is like Chuck Liddell. As soon as you touch him, you know it's over with, right? Stamina 95. We never seen Bud Crawford tired in a fight. I never seen him tired, right? I see him going a full 12. He can stop you at any point in the fight as well. Crawford heart should be a lot higher than that. I don't know why it's lower. I see Crawford is one of those dudes with a lot of heart. I guess it's hard. I guess it's that's low because he's never really seen it been tested yet. His IQ should be about 96. Yeah, I'll give it that. His IQ is really high in the ring. Errol Spence defense 87, footwork 87, chin 95. His footwork is about 87. His defense is about 87. Errol Spence do get hit in fights, especially more recently. His more recent fights. His heart is 98. Errol Spence is a dog in there. That's what he's known. He's known as a dog. You know what I'm saying? His stamina, I think that should be higher. Errol Spence gets stronger as the fight goes, right? His IQ 95. I won't say Spence is a dumb fighter, but I won't say I'll probably get at about 93. This is just about 3 years ago. This is just what I'm about to go off of. Errol Spence, though. Hopefully they prepared him for Terence Crawford the proper way. While they may have built him to become an attraction in the big state of Texas, right? Hopefully he had the right opponents, that he has enough experience and familiarity when he gets in there with Crawford, we'll be like, okay, I can handle this. I can deal with this dude. I fought this many different guys. I fought this style before. I could kind of mix it all up into one and put it as a guy like Terence Crawford. Hopefully they did that. I don't think that was the case, though, because looking at his run, right? A lot of smaller dudes. Bro. And this is something that I was saying about Errol Spence from years. I've always been a fan, but this is something that I always question. I felt like I need to see more. Like going into a lot of his fights, he was always the heavy favorite to win. People always knew he was just going to win. And he had most of the advantages over a lot of his opponents. So I haven't seen Errol Spence in there with any crafty fighters. Like a Keith Thurman, like a Crawford, right? Like a Keith or a Crawford. I haven't seen it. Not since the amateurs. And when he was in there with somebody that can style and profile on him, move like that, move and groove on him, he did not look good at all. He was like seconds behind this guy. Crawford can emulate that same approach. Sticking and moving, cutting his angle, boom, boom. Spence likes to keep his hands up high. Very textbook. But I don't think that textbook is going to be enough to deal with Crawford's book. It's not going to be enough. I don't think it's just going to be enough. I'm still trying to figure out how Spence is going to beat Crawford. Unless Terence Crawford is literally standing still, right? Unless Bud Crawford, bro, is standing still, I don't see how Spence is going to stop this dude. I don't see it, you guys. I like Errol Spence, man. I just don't see it. I don't see. Look at that. Jumping in with some shit, like, and then cutting the angle at the same time. Punching in between punches is one of the main things. Errol Spence does not like to punch in between punches, but when he does do it, it may or may not work out for him. He just doesn't. He don't seem comfortable doing it. But this is something that Terence Crawford loves to do. And it's risky. It's risky. This is why he gets hit, because he likes to punch when you punch. But it's something that he didn't master over. Look at that, punching while you punching every time. Look at that. That's how he. And this is an old clip that I made, 2 years ago. The Avaresian fight, same thing. Punching while he was punching. He punches while you punching. Errol Spence will have to fight a very, very smart fight dealing with Terence Bud Crawford, bro. And I really don't want to I don't really want to become so biased when I got this, like, sound so biased, but when I'm looking at these dudes and their styles, I just don't see how Spence could deal with a guy like this. Not only is he an offensive machine, but he has everything else going for him as well. Really tough matchup for Spence. I think that Sean Porter is actually a tougher matchup, probably stylistically, for Crawford. I figured it would have been, but Crawford handled Porter like nobody else. You saw how he put his hand on his shoulder? Master level fucking skills, bro. Watch. Look at his right hand. Watch how he controls him. Look at his right hand. How he's controlling the head. And he's looking at him right there. Feet on the outside. Moved out the way. Kind of rolled with it. Boom. Came with the punch because he didn't see it because it was blinding him. Bam. Boom, boom, bam. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, dudes was fighting Porter. Crawford figured out how to just negate anything what Porter does best. He negated it. He negated it. Whatever Porter did, bro. Crawford ain't get he don't get enough credit for that fight. I don't think he get enough credit for how he handled Sean Porter. Now they just want to say Sean Porter just wasn't, he was out the door already. So that kind of sucks for Crawford, because that was the fight that fans demanded that he fought before he fought Spence. Then he gets in there and fights the guy, and then the fight is no good. Then the fight was no good, or Porter was out the door. You know what I'm saying? But Porter told you going into the fight that he trained his hardest, right? And then when we look at Spence, right, fighting Mikey, Spence decided to box. See, this was Spence. He got caught with that straight right. He beat the hell out of Mikey Garcia, but he should have stopped him, though, right? So how powerful is Errol Spence really? Yeah, he beat the hell out of Ugas. But Ugas literally stood there like a punching bag. Mikey is pretty much kind of doing the same. He was a potato in the ring, ain't moving at all, really. It's just that Mikey got better defense than Ugas, to where Mikey didn't get his eye toe up. But Errol Spence completely had his way with Mikey Garcia, right? But my only knock with that performance was he should have stopped the lightweight fighter. That's my only beef with that performance. You should have stopped the lightweight fighter, bro. But what Errol Spence does really, really good is that his pressure, his presence, his pressure. Once he gets going, he gets going. But when he's in, but the guys that he's fought, none of them was cutting angles like that. But when we seen him cutting them angles like Sean Porter did, right? When we seen him cutting them angles like Sean Porter did, well, we kind of saw what happened. We saw what type of fight it was. People act like Porter was just at his best. Nah, man, we seen Porter get dropped by AB, bro. We seen Porter in all types of fights. You know what I'm saying? We seen Porter in all fights. But when Spence got in there with him, man, it was about as close as it could be. Surprisingly close until the knockdown. When Spence finally decided to throw, when Porter threw, that's when it paid off for him. And that changed the whole course of the fight. Well, actually, Porter still fought his ass off to the end, but this is really what won Spence that fight.
1 minute remaining.
Spence. Another thing too, right? And I don't even want to make this be too long, but hey, whatever. We got a long monologue today. Another thing is the stuff outside the ring. Yeah, that's right. I thought I was gonna forget about that. The stuff outside the ring, man. Who lives the healthier lifestyle? Who has lived the healthier lifestyle up to this point, right? And while Crawford may be the older fighter, I would say in some instances he may be the younger fighter, right? He don't drink, he don't smoke, he don't party, he don't do nothing. He's just a boxer. He's just all boxing. You cut his head open, it's just a boxing glove in there. Fighters ain't out here pressing Crawford like that, bro. We heard the Jerron Ennis conversation the other day, too. We heard that, man, had Boots Ennis stammering. You know what I'm saying? Crawford is one of those dudes that they walk in a room, these dudes get quiet and shit. You know what I'm saying? They surrounded him, listening to him. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that dude is a bad dude, bro. But Errol Spence is a bad dude, too, right? Let's not get it twisted. Errol Spence is a bad dude himself. But I just don't think it's going to be enough for Terence Bud Crawford. See, he lunges in, he reaches in, he's almost posing, he's taking pictures and shit while he's punching. I don't know if I like that. You see how long it takes for him to pull back from that punch? He cannot afford to be lunging in on a guy like Crawford, a counter puncher, crafty Crawford. Can't do it. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.